We're grateful for each and every one of you. Let us know where in the world you're tuning in from. We'd love to hear from you in the comments. Let's begin. People say you can sense when your marriage begins to rot. I didn't. I was too busy working double shifts at my construction company, trying to build a future for a woman who had already moved on emotionally long before she physically did. My name is Caleb Turner, 34, and until recently, I believed stability was enough to keep love alive. Meline didn't want stability. She wanted something wilder, something I didn't notice she was searching for until it was too late. The first sign wasn't a text. It wasn't a late-night call. It wasn't even an argument. It was a look. A look she gave me 2 months before everything exploded. A look that lingered on me as though she was assessing a stranger who had wandered into her home by mistake. I was sitting at the dining table, reviewing invoices, dust on my clothes from a long day. She came downstairs dressed immaculately, hair curled, heels on, perfume strong enough to command attention. I thought she was going out with her friends again. "Where are you headed?" I asked, smiling like a fool eager to connect. Her lips barely curved. "Out. With who?" "A group," she said, sliding on her bracelet. "Don't wait up." She used that phrase often, "don't wait up." But back then, I convinced myself it meant nothing. People evolve. Couples drift. It happens. But what I didn't know was that she wasn't drifting. She was running. Her routines changed slowly at first. Late-night showers, hidden passwords, phone on silent, new clothes I'd never seen before, and most painfully, a sudden lack of interest in anything that had to do with me. But still, I tried. I woke earlier to make her breakfast. I stayed up late just so I could see her walk in. I planned weekend trips she found excuses to avoid. I tried to pull us closer while she kept pushing herself further away. Then came the night, everything snapped in half. I remember standing in a laundry room, folding her shirts, humming under my breath. Her scent was on the fabric, a scent that used to make me feel lucky. Now, it made me feel uneasy. She walked in with a suitcase. Not a small one. A full-size travel bag, the kind you take for more than a weekend. "Caleb," she said, without looking at me. "I need some time." I blinked. Time for what? To live. To breathe. To do things I can't do here. Her voice was casual. Cold. Practiced. "Meline, what does that even mean?" "It means I'm leaving for a while." "How long?" She zipped her suitcase in one clean motion. "A week. Maybe more. Don't call me. Don't ask questions. I just want to enjoy myself." Enjoy. That word ricocheted in my chest like a bullet. I felt my stomach twist, but I didn't beg. That was the moment something inside me went quiet. A silence that felt like awakening rather than defeat. She thought she had broken me. She was wrong, because while she grabbed her purse and keys, I was already calculating everything she didn't notice. The house was in my name. Every asset she flaunted was tied to me. Every comfort she enjoyed was rooted in my hard work. And every lie she had told would crumble the moment I exposed it. "Don't wait up," she said one last time, smirking like she had already won. I nodded, leaning on a washer. "Have the time you think you deserve." She didn't realize that sentence was the fuse I lit under her entire world. The door closed behind her, and I took a deep breath, not of grief, but of clarity. For the first time in years, I wasn't thinking like a wounded husband. I was thinking like a man preparing to take back what was his. I had 7 days. 7 days to end the marriage that she had already destroyed. 7 days to gather proof she never thought I'd look for. 7 days to turn the tables so hard she'd never recover. She wanted freedom for a week. I wanted justice. And justice takes planning. When the front door closed behind Meline, the silence that followed wasn't peaceful. It was electric, a kind of stillness that makes you feel every heartbeat like a warning. But here's the thing about being betrayed. After the shock, something sharper rises, clarity, purpose, and a hunger to reclaim your life. I didn't pour myself a drink or sit in the dark like some abandoned husband. I grabbed my laptop, because if she wanted freedom, I wanted honesty. I wanted to know who she was running toward, not away from. Her mistake wasn't leaving. Her mistake was thinking I'd accept it. I remembered something small she never thought I'd pay attention to. 2 months earlier, a gym membership charge appeared on our joint statement. Except Meline hated the gym. She once said treadmills depressed her. So why had she suddenly joined a fitness club across town? I logged in with a password she didn't know I knew. Her membership profile, Opened instantly. Last check-in. 3:02 p.m. Activity. Cardio room. Guest access approved. Guest access. So, she wasn't working out. She was meeting someone. My pulse tightened. Not with heartbreak, but with direction. I drove to the gym that night. The receptionist, young guy, polite, told me something interesting. Your wife comes in a lot. Usually with the same man. A man. There it was. Confirmation. But I didn't react. No raised voice. No drama. I thanked him and left. Because reacting emotionally was what she expected. I had something better. Patience. At home, I checked the cloud backup for her phone. Meline was careful, but not brilliant. Every text she deleted on her phone was still stored by the carrier. And with her share plan, I had access. What I found didn't break my heart. It just steeled it. Because there were messages. Hundreds. Between her and a man named Brandon Lewis, a 32-year-old coworker she had once described as barely competent. Reading their exchanges didn't destroy me. It revealed her. The woman who came home late. She wasn't exhausted. She was with him. The new dresses she bought. They weren't for date nights with me. They were for hotel rooms with him. The sudden confidence, the constant excuses, the distant stares across dinner, all of it finally made sense. But again, no yelling. No impulsive decisions. This wasn't a moment for heartbreak. This was the moment a man becomes someone he never thought he'd have to be. I dug through old emails and texts between us. Messages from her asking me for transfers, for financial help, for approvals. And something clicked. Meline never cared about me leaving. She cared about what she'd lose. She loved the house, the car, the money, the lifestyle I built. She didn't want me, but she wanted everything tied to my name. And that realization, that was the spark that ignited my revenge. Because her betrayal wasn't just emotional. It was strategic, calculated, self-serving. She wasn't only cheating on me. She was using me. And that meant my retaliation needed to be more than emotional. It needed to be permanent. Her week-long freedom trip became my countdown. 7 days. 7 steps. Day 1. File for separation. Day 2. Hire a lawyer. Someone sharp. Someone relentless. Day 3. Freeze the joint accounts. Day 4. Contact a realtor. Day 5. Gather every piece of evidence. Day 6. Move my belongings to a temporary condo. Day 7. Prepare the house for her return. I didn't want an explosive showdown. I wanted a surgical strike. I wanted her to walk through the door, believing she still had power, and then watch that illusion evaporate as she realized everything had already been decided without her. By the time day 5 arrived, my lawyer had reviewed everything. Messages, statements, timelines. Caleb, she said, adjusting her glasses, you have a rock-solid case. Her actions void her claims to marital assets. This will go smoothly. Painfully for her, but smoothly. Good. I replied, steady as bedrock. Painfully is the point. The realtor arrived next. A confident woman named Sabrina Harlow, middle-aged, sharp, efficient. The moment she stepped into the foyer, she looked around the house and nodded with professional approval. This will sell very quickly, Mr. Turner. Buyers love neighborhoods like this. List it, I said. Immediately. By evening, the sign was already staked into the front yard. For sale, by appointment only. If Meline came home early, she'd see it right away. If she came home on time, she'd see something worse. I invited the necessary people to the house on the last day. My lawyer, the realtor, 2 witnesses. This wasn't going to be a fight. This was going to be a meeting. Cold, legal, undeniable. As I arranged the documents on the dining table, the same table where Meline once laughed with me, I felt something unexpected. Relief. Not sorrow. Not rage. Not confusion. Just relief. Because when someone shows you who they truly are, you either crumble or you rebuild. I chose to rebuild. And I was ready. Ready for her return. Ready for the shock. Ready for the unraveling. She wanted a week to enjoy herself. Her fun was about to end. Mine was about to begin. The 7th day arrived like the final click of a clock. The house was spotless, staged by the realtor's team with neutral decor, so nothing felt personal anymore. The framed photos of us, our road trip, our first apartment, her birthday dinner, were gone. Packed away in a storage unit she didn't know existed. The living room didn't look like our living room. It looked like a house waiting for a buyer. And maybe in a way, That was exact justice, because she treated me the same way. Something she could trade up from. Around 5 in the evening, I stood near the window, waiting. My lawyer, Ariel, sat at the dining table reviewing the documents one last time. She was calm, collected, and sharp in a dark blazer that made her look like the embodiment of consequences. "You're sure you want to do this in person?" she asked. "I'm sure. And you don't want an argument or confrontation?" "No," I said. "I want clarity. No yelling. No drama. Just the truth laid out in daylight." She nodded, respecting my tone. This wasn't about punishing her with chaos. This was about ending the chaos she created. Sabrina, the realtor, stepped in from outside after adjusting the for sale sign one more time. She brushed dust off her skirt and looked at me. "She's going to be shocked," she said. "That's the point." Then the room fell silent. Waiting, watching the driveway. And at 5:46 p.m., headlights flickered through the front window. Her car. Meline pulled in slowly, probably tired, probably expecting me to run out with open arms or guilt-ridden questions. For a moment, I inhaled deeply, not because I doubted myself, but because this was the moment everything finally transitioned from planning to reality. The car door opened. Her heels clicked on the driveway. Her suitcase wheels bumped over the curb. And then she froze. She stared at the for sale sign like someone had slapped the breath out of her. Her face twisted in confusion, then concern, then something else, fear. She dragged her suitcase up the steps and pushed open the front door. Her eyes widened the second she saw Ariel sitting at the dining table, folders stacked neatly. Then her gaze shifted to Sabrina by the window. Then to me. There was a faint smear of makeup on her cheek from travel. Her hair was messy, her blouse wrinkled. She looked nothing like the glamorous woman who walked out 7 days ago, thinking she was invincible. What is this?" she whispered. I didn't smile. I didn't get angry. I simply gestured to the seat across from me. "We need to talk." Madeline's eyes darted between the strangers in our home. "Who are these people?" "My lawyer," I said. "And the realtor." She blinked rapidly, the way someone blinks when their world is shifting too fast for them to grasp. "Why is there a realtor in our house?" "Because it isn't our house anymore," I said calmly. "It's for sale." Her jaw dropped as she glanced back toward the lawn. "For sale? Caleb, what are you talking about? Why would you do something like that? Without telling me?" "That's funny," I replied quietly. "You left for a week without telling me anything." She stiffened, guilt flickering in her eyes, but she covered it quickly with indignation. "You know I needed space." "You needed someone," I corrected. "Not space. Someone." Her throat bobbed. Ariel slid a folder toward her. "Mrs. Turner, everything is detailed here. Your husband is filing for divorce." Madeline's breath caught. Her hand trembled as she touched the folder. "Divorce," she choked out. "Caleb, no, what? Why? We just needed time." "I just needed time." "You didn't need time," I repeated, my voice steady but cold. "You needed a week with Brandon Lewis." Her whole body jerked. The color drained from her cheeks, so fast it looked like she was fading into the room itself. I don't know what you're talking about," she stammered. "Caleb, please, what is this? Who told you something like that?" "You did," I answered. "Through your messages. Through your check-ins. Through the receipts you try to hide. Through the excuses, the lies, the late nights, the new clothes, the sudden weekends away." I stood up, not to tower over her or intimidate her, but to make something clear. I was not the broken husband she imagined walking through the door. "I know everything, Meline. Every detail. Every meeting. Every hotel. Every night you told me you were exhausted." Her lips parted. "Caleb, stop. Please, just wait." "No," I said. "For the first time in years, you don't get to interrupt me." The room went still. She swallowed hard, her eyes swimming with something she hadn't felt in months. Fear of losing control. "You left to enjoy yourself," I continued. "I stayed to rebuild my life without you." "That house," she whispered, gesturing shakily to the living room. "That house is mine too." "No," Ariel said, sliding another document forward. "It's not. It's in his name. Purchased before the marriage. You have no claim over it under state law." Madeline's breath hitched. Her eyes darted wildly around the room, as though searching for an escape, a loophole, a miracle. "Caleb, please can we talk alone?" she begged, reaching for my arm. I stepped back. "There's nothing left to talk about." Her shoulders dropped, as if her bones could no longer hold her. Tears gathered, but didn't fall. She was still fighting to maintain dignity. "This is so cruel," she whispered. "You're right," I said softly. "Cheating is." Her lips quivered. "I made a mistake," she whispered. "A big mistake. But I didn't think you'd ever stand up for myself." I finished. "No, you didn't think that." Behind her, the realtor waited. My lawyer waited. Reality waited. Meline finally sank into the dining chair, defeated. She thought she could leave me for a week and return to the life she took for granted. But she came back to the moment her fantasy collapsed. And I didn't feel victory. I felt closure. A calm, powerful kind of closure that comes from finally choosing yourself. Meline sat stiffly at the dining table, the air around her shaking with the weight of everything she never thought would happen. She kept opening her mouth as if she could still negotiate her way out of this, like charm would fix what she broke. But there was no charm strong enough to erase betrayal. Not tonight. Her voice came out in a thin, trembling whisper. "Caleb, just give me a chance to explain. Please." I took a breath, not to calm myself, but to make sure my answer was steady. "You had chances," I said. "Months of them. You had chances every night you came home late. Every time you lied. Every time you thought I wouldn't see the truth." She shook her head rapidly. "I wasn't leaving you. I wasn't planning anything permanent. It was just an escape. I just wanted to feel something again. And you decided that something shouldn't be me." I replied quietly. Her eyes snapped up, glossy and vulnerable. "Are you really going to throw our marriage away like this?" I almost laughed, not out of cruelty, but out of disbelief. "You threw it away first," I said. "I'm just picking up the pieces and making sure none of them cut me again." Ariel, my lawyer, gently pushed the final packet toward her. "Mrs. Turner, once you sign this acknowledgement form, we can proceed with formal filings. We recommend reading every page before signing." Meline stared at the papers as if they were burning holes through the wood beneath them. "This isn't fair," she whispered. "You blindsided me." "You walked out," I said. "You blindsided yourself." She looked around the house, at the stage furniture, the neutral decor, the empty walls. Every trace of her, of us, had already been removed. This doesn't even look like our home," she said softly. "It isn't," I replied. "It's a listing." That hit her harder than anything else that night. She looked physically smaller now, like someone who didn't just lose a fight, but stumbled into a reality she never prepared for. "What happens to me now?" she murmured, voice cracking. "You move on," I said, "the way you were already doing. Just this time you do it honestly." Her eyes brimmed, finally letting a tear fall. A single, lonely drop that hit the table like a confession. "Caleb, I swear I didn't want to hurt you." "You didn't care if you did," I corrected gently. "There's a difference." For a moment, her shoulders caved inward. She wasn't the confident, defiant woman who walked out with a suitcase. She was someone facing consequences for the first time. Sabrina, the realtor, stepped forward with a sympathetic but firm expression. "Mrs. Turner, you'll need to remove any personal belongings within the next 72 hours. The house goes to market this week." Meline's eyes darted between us, panic creeping up her throat. "I don't have anywhere to go." "You'll be okay," I said, emotion tightening in my chest. Not love, not pity, but a quiet finality. "You always land on your feet. Just not on mine anymore." Her lip trembled. "Is this really the end?" "It ended before this meeting," I replied softly. "Tonight is just the moment you finally noticed." Silence settled. Heavy, cold, irreversible. My lawyer gathered her folders. The realtor closed her binder. The witnesses murmured quietly as they prepared to leave. And I stepped away from the table, the weight of the past lifting from my shoulders. Meline wiped at her face, staring at the documents that sealed everything. She knew she had no fight left. Not because she didn't want to, but because the truth left her with nothing to stand on. As the front door opened for the others to exit, she called my name one last time. "Caleb." I paused but didn't turn fully. "I never thought you'd be the one to leave me." I met her eyes briefly, soft, broken, confused. "That's where you underestimated me," I said. "I wasn't the weak one. I was just the one who believed in us longer than you did." I walked out into the evening air, a strange calm settling through me. Behind me, The house that once held our life was no longer ours. And the woman who once thought she could walk all over me finally saw the man who wouldn't let her do it again. My revenge wasn't loud. It wasn't violent. It wasn't dramatic. It was simple, clean, and final. I chose myself, and that was enough to end everything she thought she controlled.